Hello there, my name is Kuma. In Arknights, a few characters resonate with me more deeply than others, and I believe that's natural. We all have unique beliefs, perspectives, and experiences that shape how we connect with different characters. But recently, I found the character who resonates with me the most during the Babel event. My favorite written character in all of Arknights. And that is what I want to share with you today. Why Theresa is such a great character, and why I became a Theresa simp, I guess. So, when Babel came out, Theresa wasn't entirely new to us. Right from the start of the game, we knew a little bit about her. She was this mysterious figure W blamed the doctor for killing. We knew she was once the leader of Babel, the group precursor to Rhodes Island. But back then, we had no idea of who she really was. We didn't know why she was so important to the reality we saw through the eyes of the Doctor. And that's why at first, I didn't think much about Theresa. She seemed distant, like a character from a different story. Someone important, yes, but she felt removed from the reality we were experiencing. And there really wasn't much you could draw from the little we knew about her. As time went on, though, we got bits and pieces of her personality and ideals, as she got mentioned in a couple events, but nothing major really. So while I was curious, I didn't have a reason to feel connected to her. But then came the Babel event, and everything changed. For the first time, we got to see Teresa's whole story unfold in front of us. Her dreams, her struggles, her achievements, and ultimately, her tragic end. It was incredible. Seeing all of this made me appreciate her in a way I never expected. Teresa is a dreamer. She envisions a world where the Sarkaz don't have to live in endless war and suffering. She's tired of the fighting. She wants peace, even if that seems impossible. She is also the king of the Sarkaz, a role she didn't necessarily want for herself, but a role she saw the need to take. Teresa was once a hero who fought the previous Sarkaz king, also to end the war and the suffering that he brought upon their people. And after their battle, the crown found its place on her head. But in this position, as magical and absurd as it is, a hero, then a king, Teresa ends up being very relatable. Because the Sarkaz, they don't really understand her ideals. Some understand the dream of living in peace, but they can't fathom a way to achieve it. While there are some others who understand her thoughts, they truly do, but they can't see peace as a realistic option, or they want war to continue. And it might sound like a stretch to you, but this is a sentiment that a lot of us can feel throughout life. Being in a trusted position, not even as a leader, but as an equal to a group, where they respect you, they love having you around, they are your friends, yet they can't find a way to fit your ideals with their own. This happens a lot. After all, we are all different, and our priorities and viewpoints can't all be the same all the time. So whenever I saw Teresa trying her best to have everyone understand that there might be a different path to take, and all of them being neutral to her at best, there I saw myself in the many trivial happenings of the day-to-day life. She felt so relatable. I will give one example just to illustrate what I mean. One time, I went traveling on a weekend with a group of friends. One of them had a beach house, so we would cook for ourselves. And of course, I didn't mind cooking for all of us, because I love cooking. But there was one thing they all agreed on, except for me: frozen fries instead of fresh potatoes. They wanted to buy frozen fries because it's easier to make, and I wanted to buy fresh potatoes because they were both 5 times cheaper and would taste way better. And after talking about it, we couldn't reach a consensus. They couldn't explain to me why they wanted the frozen fries if I would be the one cooking for them. I would be the one having to go through the extra trouble. Of course, I had no choice but to give in and accept the cold reality of those frozen fries. Just like Theresa in what is probably my favorite scene in the entire Babel event. Theresa is walking among her people, all of them in reverence for their king, a king they respect, but a king they won't follow anymore. She knows they are going to war, and she, after trying so hard, can't change their minds. They are all in unison believing in what the king has decided to go against. Beyond these relatable struggles, there's so much to love about Teresa's character. She's resilient, she's empathetic, and she's committed. Though she dislikes her titles, she used them as tools to reach her goals. She tirelessly works, driven by the hope of convincing her people before it's too late for them. She trusts Scout Seat with a blind passion, because she knows she needs help to live her dreams, she can't do it alone. And that's why she also trusts the Doctor when they meet, because from her perspective, the Doctor is Scout Seat's friend, someone who knows a lot about Original and can help her. She alone learned about the nature of Original to the point where she can bring back the information stored inside it, to the point where the Doctor is impressed when she talks about it to him for the first time. Yet, she knows she's powerless, even with the knowledge she achieved, because the only thing she managed to recreate was a simple flower bed. Beautiful, yet meaningless for her objectives. This scene in Babel makes Theresa feel human. She has achieved greater feats than anyone else could ever imagine of achieving. But it's not enough to change her reality. Doesn't matter if it's impossibly impressive. It's still not enough. I love the writing on Theresa. She remains positive throughout the story, she's always smiling whenever she doesn't have to face her battles. And this optimism moves a lot of people around her, creating Babel, with a relatively small group of Sarkaz who decided to believe in her words, and some outsiders from other races who think her project is worth living for. A world where the Sarkaz are not special in any way. Instead, a world where the Sarkaz can live together with the other races in Terra, in peace. When you see things from the Doctor's perspective in this event, and you see his own struggles having to choose between Original, the legacy of his people, and the people of Terra, it's honestly difficult to stand on one side and say with all words that Theresa is the correct choice. She is not the correct choice. There is no correct choice for the Doctor. But from his perspective, choosing his own people is the only thing that makes sense. Otherwise, he would be throwing away eons of evolution away. But we have the luck of not being the Doctor's shoes, so we can appreciate Theresa for attempting to compel the Doctor to help them. And even at the end, for doing the best she could, getting rid of his memories to make him choose again, without being shackled by his past and his duty. Of course, this act of Theresa is not a good act. But it's the same as when she became a hero fighting the previous ruler. She is still fighting for her people. And I can really appreciate that Theresa is written this way. As much as I pointed out her pacifism and how all she wants is a moment of respite in the Sarkaz history, Theresa is still written as a human. She has flaws and she's willing to go through terrible acts if that helps her survive. More than that, considering how rare it is to see important characters dying in Arknights, it was impressive to see her death. It was the only solution to how the situation had developed, and it was still sad, filled with emotion, but nonetheless, a death that has been built for years of the game's lifespan. And now we could see it in front of our eyes. Yet, it was not the end. Theresa left a legacy within many characters in the story. She and her brother were teachers to Ascalon and Manfred, who inherited the same dichotomy as the twins. Just like Theresa and Theresis, they had a disagreement in their morals, and each chose one of the twins to follow and they went separate ways. City still wants to see Theresa's dream come true. She took the defeated Babel from the ground and rebuilt it as the Rhodes Island that we know today, but with an even bigger dream of turning equal not only the Sarkaz, but all of the infected as well. Amiya also learned from Theresa and inherited her crown, The same crown that made Theresa into the king of Sarkas, but a crown that carries so much more with it. It's actually a powerful device I want to talk about today, but Theresa gave it to Amiya because she saw in her the potential to turn things for the better, to continue her fight. Theresa is such an impactful character, but unlike any other in Arknights, she feels personal. She does absurd and magical things, yet she feels human. She struggles, she fails, and she even dies in name of her beliefs. But her legacy lives on. There are still things I needed to see in this story. I haven't read chapter 14 yet, and I will. All I know so far is that Civilite Eterna isn't actually Theresa, it's something closer to a clone made for purposes I do not understand, but it is an operator I instantly raised as I finished playing the stages. Because even if Hypergriff somehow butchers the story and the character they had so masterfully written in Babel, she is still worth for me, just from what she was up to this point. And if all I have said is not enough to understand why Theresa is for me the single best character they have ever written, then I can give you one last reason why I like her. Theresa is cute. What else can I say? If you enjoyed listening to me talk about this character I like so much, please like the video, and maybe tell me who are your favorite characters in the lore. I would love to hear about why you like the characters you like. But that said, I hope everyone has a very nice day. Peace out.